So now, another key people that contributed immensely to the world of strategy is or are Johnson, Scholes, and Whittington, and I normally call them GSW. The GSW contributed immensely, and their names will keep coming back. Johnson, Scholes, and Whittington. Sorry, don't mind, that school supposed to have C. Let's continue, please. The JSW defined strategy has the direction and the scope of an organization over a long time, which achieve advantage in changing environments through its configuration of resources and competencies, with the aim of fulfilling shareholders' expectation. We will see that some additions to it, and there are some commoners. This definition is similar to Drucker's, but has two other aspects to it, especially as regards strategic management. You see that we are mentioning things interwoven, which are interwoven. We are mentioning strategy, we are mentioning strategic management, strategic planning, long-term planning. So we see that it's specific. GSW added two items when it relates to strategic management. One, that the enterprise should use resources to achieve competitive advantages. The management of resources to achieve competitive advantages, and without having competitive advantages, the organization or business cannot survive. Also, why it is often assumed that companies should maximize shareholders' wealth, GSW states that the objective of an enterprise should be to fulfill stakeholders' expectation. Fulfilling stakeholders' expectation. We now ask ourselves a question: what is the difference between stakeholders' expectation and shareholders' expectation? Of course, stakeholders are a broader group of people than shareholders, and why every shareholder is a stakeholder, not every stakeholder will be shareholder, but every stakeholder has interest in the business somehow, economically or otherwise. Range or scope of strategic decision as identified by Johnson, Scholes, and Whittington. So what are the scope of strategic decision? 1. What business should we be doing, and what capacity must we develop to be able to do it? Relating to entities' activity to the environment in which it operates. So we want to do a business, we must ask ourselves a question: do we have resources, or can we get resources around us that we need, or do we have to import? We need to consider. So we want to import those resources. At what cost, and how beneficial will it be? Will it give us competitive advantages or competitive edges above our competitor in the industry? These are some depths that we must go into when we are talking about strategy. Okay, we must ensure that the entity has the resources and capability to operate within the scope that we've envisioned. Allocation of resources to different activities is critical, especially when it comes to strategic management. Providing high level or strategic framework of detailed decision making at operational level. So you see, operational level or operational strategy or planning is different from strategic management. Because at the high level of strategy, all we do is framework, and at the operational level we execute. Also, another scope or depth of strategy we must go into is reflecting the value and the expectation of the individual in power within the entity, especially when we mentioned the stakeholders. We must run an organization that could project the value of the stakeholders and how this value, which eventually will become the organizational culture, will be displayed and will be woven into activities. All these are strategic items that must be looked into. Deciding the long-term direction of the organization. This is key in strategy. Deciding the long-term direction for the organization. Implementing changes within the entity to be able to adapt to changes. Changes, like we all know, is something that is constant. In fact, it's the most constant thing in earth. So we must ensure that within our organization we have the capability to proactively respond to changes within our industry